Before sin had a voice, before fear had a shape, there was a garden, a place untouched by sorrow, a place where the air itself felt alive. And in that garden walked two souls who had never known shame, Adam and Eve. But there was another presence, not created for the garden, yet somehow already inside it. And for centuries, one question has remained buried in silence. What was his name? The Garden of Eden was not just beautiful, it was perfect. Every leaf, every river, every breath moved in harmony with the voice of God. Adam walked with purpose. Eve moved with wonder. There was no fear of tomorrow because tomorrow had never failed them. Until something shifted. A presence entered not with noise, but with awareness. He did not arrive like a beast. No, he observed, from the shadows of branches untouched by decay, from the silence between the wind he watched, Eve, her innocence, her curiosity, her unguarded thoughts. To him, they were not weaknesses, they were openings. And unlike the animals, he understood language. It began not with a roar, but a question. Did God really say? Eve paused, because for the first time a voice spoke that did not come from Adam and did not feel like God. It was smooth, measured, careful, not forcing doubt but planting it. Scripture calls him the serpent, but that word doesn't capture what Eve saw. He was not crawling, he was not low. There was intelligence in his eyes, awareness in his tone. He stood, not as an animal, but as something, fallen, and in ancient whispers beyond the written page, some called him the Shining One, others the Deceiver. But heaven remained silent on his true name. You will not surely die, simple words, but heavy with rebellion, because in that moment truth was not denied. It was twisted, and Eve felt something new, not fear, not yet, but curiosity, mixed with desire. The fruit was beautiful. That's what made it dangerous. Sin rarely appears ugly. It appears reasonable. Eve reached out, not in rebellion, but in belief that she was stepping into something greater. She wasn't. And just like that, everything changed. No thunder, no instant destruction, just awareness. They saw themselves, for the first time without innocence. And somewhere beyond the garden, a name was spoken, not by man, not written in scripture, but known in heaven. A name that once carried light, now carried ruin. Some would later call him Lucifer, others Satan, the adversary, the accuser. But in Eden, he needed no introduction, because deception does not begin with identity. It begins with influence. Adam, where are you? Not because God didn't know, but because Adam was hiding. Shame had entered, and with it distance. To the serpent, God spoke not just judgment, but destiny. You will crawl, you will strike, but one day you will be crushed. And just like that, the first promise of redemption was born in the same moment as the fall. Why didn't the Bible give his name? Why leave it unknown? Because names carry power, and sometimes what is unnamed forces you to focus, not on who he was, but on what he does. That voice in the garden, it never left. It just changed strategy. Did God really say? You've heard it before, in doubt, in temptation, in quiet moments when truth feels negotiable. The serpent had a name, but heaven chose silence, because knowing his name would not have saved Eve. Understanding his voice would have. And today, that same voice still whispers, not loudly but persistently. The question is not, what was his name? The question is, will you recognize him when he speaks? If this story opened your eyes, then you're not just watching, you're awakening. Subscribe to Story Loom by Goodness, where ancient truths come alive, because some stories were never meant to be forgotten.